Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is Tuesday, July 28th, and we're starting over here just because I kind of wanted to show this off. So this is going to be a shorter episode. I literally only did one thing or one piece of progression, but I kept logging on throughout the day because it was really the server and just kind of check in and only had a few minutes at a time. Every time I logged in, I'd request a new craft for a new compact 5. So I actually added 3 compact reactors today that I just crafted throughout the day because I was just didn't have too much time to play. And I just thought it was funny because these are, they're not hyper fast, but I wish I could see when it finished crafting to know how many hours it each one ultimately took, but had to be at less than 2 hours a craft now, maybe even faster. I think the only thing I did besides the main point of progression and doing these as well was I did mess around with putting the Lapitron engraved chips over on the beam line, excuse me. But it is definitely way slower than the lasers. So at some point, I think all the engraved chips and crystal chips and yada yada that can be done in the laser engravers, I'm going to move off the beam line. I knew that it was faster to do that anyways in general, but I was just kind of curious just because you do save resources doing it this way. But I think we're at the point where, again, speed matters more than resources. So it was an experiment. I was able to mess around with a few things, but yeah, really not important, but just wanted to kind of throw it out there. That's why I have 7,000 Lapitron chip masks, even though I don't need them, but that's okay. Yeah, so I set 3 of these up, so obviously everything over here is a whole lot faster. The Organicin that I guzzle through because of all the void miners we get plenty of, and obviously not really waiting for that on recipes anymore, so that is also pretty sweet. And as far as I'm aware, there's no hookups here. Let me just check with the scanner because I haven't actually double checked to make sure for some reason this isn't not working. Oh yeah, no fluid capacity. So hopping back over to the main command center. So I said I'm not exaggerating. I don't even think I upgraded a single hatch or energy hatch today, even, which is like a first time in a while. It was literally just messing around with that beamline thing for a few minutes at one point, crafting compacts and setting up antimatter. So ultimately, just kind of due to time, I decided not to rearrange these because I mentioned yesterday I might move these slightly, and I kind of was tempted to move this guy to like right here, probably like these 3 squares, this guy over here, and then build 2 more, or flip one and do 4 around it, but that's fine. I think there's still a chance I might move this guy, but not too big of a deal. Also, so basically I set this guy up earlier in the day. I did read the wiki. My setup's slightly different than the wiki setup. Like, I read it for inspiration and just to see what the heck is going on, and then kind of did my own take on it. So if you read the wiki, you'd get a general idea of how to do this as well. And then obviously the nice part of Greg Tech is you can kind of do it any way you want as long as it works. And it does work. It did have some initial hiccups, and I'll go through that as we go. But the general idea for this guy, if you look at it, if you read the tooltip and stuff, let me bring up antimatter. And this will be the stabilization sequencer. If we're looking at the tooltip here, it basically produces antimatter from protomatter. So obviously, somewhere on here is an input hatch for protomatter, which is, for me, it's down below. It also can take 4 separate fluids to help boost that thing. And there's a calculator on the wiki that you can play with the numbers to see whether one liquid is worth it or not, etc. I played with it. It really all these are definitely worth it. Like they make a decent amount of a difference, especially with how slow this is on until you're starting to like put a lot of power into it. It's worth the extra boosted fluids. So for obviously for the basics, down here, this guy, the black cable for me is always the actual main network. Then the white cable is my primary, like the first level down P2Ps. And then for me, orange is always exit. So what we got going on here is this is everything in. Ultimately, this is where it's coming out. And it's a little different than I normally do the outputs, which I'll go through here in a little bit. Then I've just got wireless hatches everywhere. So this guy is feeding down here on my proto matter, as well as my depleted Nequata fuel. Now, I had been processing my depleted Nequata fuel naively, so I didn't really have a lot in the bank. I did over here, this older Nequata reactor that I hadn't been using for a while. I just have this guy running now, generating power. Obviously, in terms of what the grand scale of the base and amount of power, this guy's really not doing much, but you know, good. Like, why is that so much in? That seems like that's more than it should be. Something's weird. Yeah, you know, actually, no, that should be right. Sorry, it's been a while. The scale's kind of thrown off for me. But basically, this guy's just running to burn Nequata fuel. I know there's like a Tesseract recipe and stuff, but I'm always hesitant with that, where I know I don't want to put it in a place where I'm trying to craft a bunch of Tesseracts and then I'm out of Nequata fuel and it just like it screws me over. So we'll just burn Nequata fuel over there for power. It doesn't hurt anything. And then obviously it doesn't burn it fast enough. So like if I will pull up NACFE right now, when I turned that on, I was sitting at 2.2 and I'm net gaining. So I could probably turn on another one. But this will still keep going for the star fuel. Actually, as I say star fuel, I haven't even checked on the Forge of the Gods to see if I can upgrade that yet. But so yeah, I got proto matter down here, and depleted Nequata. I do have a fluid level 11 or fluid hatch, wireless hatch. Why am I drawing a blank on what it's called? Wireless fluid detector cover. Excuse me. That is here just to shut down the machine if needed, because if you run out of proto matter, you void a bunch of antimatter. I think it says it voids half of what's in the input buses, which right now wouldn't be a big deal, but later on when I'm producing more, it could potentially be very sad. And then the other of the main network stuff is up here, where we've got molten purified 10 gam, space time, and Shirobon. And then all of these have crafting cards in them just to make sure that they keep like these hatches full, because these do make a pretty decent thing. I definitely think I need to turn on a second Nequata 5 reactor just to keep up with it more, because that one only boosts the output. But that's it for the main network. Well, until we get to the output buses. On the actual like antimatter part, the quote unquote puzzle piece, essentially what you got going on is you have 16 hatches that get put or antimatter put into them. And then every single second you want to input, or you want to remove all the antimatter that's currently in there and input the same amount. Now, this number is fluctuating a little. Like, it should always be 250 in, and then when you see the bouncing number come out is, you know, like, so when you see 264, for example, right there, that means we had a net gain of antimatter. If you see it go down for some reason, something is desynced and not all of these are got in. So as a general setup, so like I said, none of this is the main network. Nothing gets fed from the outside. It's a contained cycle, except for excess gets booted out. So in my case, when I first set this up, I literally put 10 liters in every one of these tanks here. Do a bad job of explaining. Get ahead of myself. So there are 16 antimatter hatches, which is the part of the primary structure. It's hard to see here, But this block, this block, this block, and this block are all antimatter hatches facing up and down. And then on every single antimatter hatch, to facilitate inputting everything once a second and taking out everything same second, I've got UV regulators on the top to export as much as possible. And then I just use EPM regulators on the right side to input. Now, this wasn't like a resource thing or whatever, because even though I'm using a small amount, I wanted to use different colors. So when I was coming to set things up later, I would never get confused. So for me, greens up top, blues to the side. And, obviously I use the ZPM one to the side because generally speaking, I don't think I will ever need to pull in 2 million liters a second of antimatter. So this is overkill. This probably could have been like an LV regulator. But anyway, so all 16 of these have those. The other thing I have on all of them is a wireless machine control cover. This would be one of the things that's different from mine to the wiki. I use this, and then all these regulators are set to only work when machine state is on. This is so I can easily turn off the machine and make sure everything's turned off at the same time. And I'll show the little thing I have over there up front. So all these, if we look at them, this one's outputting as much as it can every second. Remember, 20 ticks is a second. And then this guy is set to import 250 every second as well. And then all of these have the exact same settings set across the board. It's actually one of the pain in the butt parts is changing this regulator, because you have to go and change all of them. As far as I'm aware, there's no like clicky button to just fix that. So yeah, that whole runs on the cycle. So this gets imported, then it exports to this guy. And then from here, I import back into the network, or into this little sub network here, with 2 storage buses are the only things on it besides the import bus. This one's set to higher priority. This one's set to lower priority. These go into the orange network, which go down to below, and then kick out to the main network once it's overflowed. So now, when you're looking at this, that's pretty much it. Realistically, the machine controllers are just controlled by this little thing up here. So this redstone receiver is from the proto energy hatch or proto matter hatch down below. And then obviously an on and off switch, simple as that. Little AND gate. This then sends the signal up to this transmitter that transmits to both the main controller as well as every single antimatter hatch, so they all turn on and off at the same time. And simple as that for controlling. Technically speaking, you could, instead of using the receiver on here, I could have just like done this circuit backwards and then just had like this wire like go to here, but that's fine. So now down below, the only thing I kind of did different than I normally do for these like output circuits is I did add a storage buffer. This is specifically set to a lower priority than the main network one. And I only did this with the idea that just in case I ever cross cables on this network, if this shuts off and those don't have anywhere to export to, even the quantum hatches plenty of buffer space, but I was a little worried that sometime way down the line, if something for some reason happens and the main network can't accept the thing, that I would start voiding mass amounts of antimatter. Now, on the main network, I do have a singularity storage for antimatter, and then obviously this one's one as well. So it should, in theory, be fine. I can't imagine a situation where I just connect 2 wires for different subnetworks and shut the main network down for hours at a time. But I just figured it was a easy enough backup. And then this guy just exports antimatter out. Now, I did think about throwing a second one of these with a high priority on the other side with a really small storage cell to basically give me a backup body of antimatter to, if I do void everything for some reason, to be able to like kickstart the process. Just set that to like stored, insert only storage, and then higher priority. So once that's full, then it starts going to the main network, but we'll see. So I only got this set up for now. I have not set up this guy, and my power is actually going down, not super fast, but relatively fast right now. And not really from this guy. It was going down before I got this turned on. This guy only uses a billion, 5 billion EU per tick, nothing too crazy. But and I wasn't sure how much power it needed, so literally it has 9 UMV wireless energy hatches on it on all three sides, so a little overkill. But so for tonight, it's been a while, but I think I'm actually going to shut down the server because the power's in a decline and I have nothing currently crafting. So tomorrow the goal will be to start putting the antimatter to use. I mean, it would be nice to leave it running overnight to get enough antimatter to start using it, but I don't know. Well, I don't think I'll run out of power overnight, and this should generate plenty, so I don't know, we'll see how I feel about it. It'll probably be dependent on how long it seems like YouTube's taking to unload the video because it's already past my bedtime. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave it at. Is tomorrow just going to work on putting the antimatter to use, and then from there, I don't know, cleaning up some things and starting to look at the Eye of Harmony, and then if the Forge of the Gods is able to upgrade, I'll throw the second thing on there, and maybe I'll mess around with that logic puzzle over there, see what I can do about it to start making that fluid. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions about my setup, or if I didn't explain anything well and you're curious about, just feel free to let me know in the comments. And otherwise, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.